Tommy Kraft was good enough to have me sit in for him at an FCA event in Fort Smith last night, where the featured speaker was Darryl Strawberry, who, and you use the word legend lightly sometimes. He truly was a real Major League Baseball legend, and a story that is unique for many reasons. And he doesn't get into this on the interview, but at the age of 15, his alcoholic father threatened to kill the entire family. He said his brothers and he would have killed their father if his mother did not step in and convince them to not do so. Their father ran out of the house, never came back. That was at the age of 15. Darryl Strawberry was the first overall pick in the 1980 draft, right out of Crenshaw High School in South Central Los Angeles. Did not have an easy upbringing. And he shot to the major leagues in 3 years, where he won the 1983 National League Rookie of the Year with 26 homers for a previously moribund Mets franchise that just 2 years later, or 3 years later, won their second ever world championship. Strawberry was prime to become one of the great sluggers of a 50-year era. But just like happened to so many athletes in the 80s, drugs and alcohol did him in, really did him in, to the point where he was homeless, $3 million in debt, and out of a career. He did turn his life around through his wife, Tracy, and turning his life over, in his words, to Jesus. Now, for those of you who have listened to this show for the last couple of years, you're probably aware I am Jewish. So I'm always open to hear anybody's testimony, anybody's thoughts on religion. I might not agree with them, but that doesn't mean we can't talk about it.
You're a hard sell for sure.
I am, but I also would never dream of questioning someone's belief in something that they obviously know turned their life around. Darryl Strawberry should be dead, probably 3 or 4 times over. 2-time cancer survivor. Drugs and alcohol nearly killed him. His father nearly killed him. It's amazing. Really an amazing story. So I felt lucky to sit there with him yesterday before he spoke to the FCA and talk a little bit about his faith, a little bit about baseball, and a little bit about mentorship. So here is, I think, 9.5 minutes with me and Darryl Strawberry from yesterday afternoon in Fort Smith. And welcome back, and we're talking with former Major League star Darryl Strawberry, who's in Fort Smith today speaking at the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Darryl, I really appreciate your time today. How are you doing, and what brings you to Fort Smith?
Well, I'm doing great. It's really good to be able to actually get back on the road. My schedule usually be jam-packed. I usually travel maybe 240, 50 times out of the year. Speaking, do a lot of FCA, Fellowship for Christian Athletes programs, because I think it's really important, and we're such a critical time for young people to be able to know that the Lord Jesus Christ is the most important thing. So that message need to be carried out, and FCA do a wonderful job. So that's one of the reasons why I'm here in Fort Smith for tonight. Not like it would normally be, with jam-packed with tons of people, but that's okay. The people that are here are a big part of the community, and you need to really encourage them that it's important that we stay focused on supporting our young people.
Well, it's also World Series time, and you got the Dodgers versus the Rays. Do you still actively watch baseball? And what has it been like trying, if so, watching baseball this year, which has been such a different season than anybody could have ever expected?
Well, I really don't watch it. I haven't watched it this year. I just got a chance to get a quick look at it last night when I got in and saw that the Dodgers beat the Braves, and of course they're going to play Tampa. So it's a World Series. It is what it is. Of course, it's a different time. At least they are going to have some type of fans back in the stands. It's been a very challenging time for all of us living in the society we're living in right now, and you just have to make the best out of it. There's no reason to complain, and it could be worse. We're still here, so God still has a plan. So we just, those that are still here, remember the importance of what we're here for. And baseball, like, it's just a game. It's gonna come and go. Somebody's gonna win and lose, and that's just the reality of it.
How long did it take you to come upon that perspective
Because as a professional athlete, while you're playing the game, it might be difficult to have that perspective. But where did that come from for you?
Well, it came probably about 17 years ago when I decided to give my life back to the Lord and really walk with the Lord for real and not be consumed with earthly things anymore and not talk about the trophies and the success that a man achieves here. That's all a part of life, but at the end of the day, that's not real life. That's just a part of life. And the real life and purpose is coming and knowing who you are in Christ. And, that's something my mother always wanted me to believe in, and I just didn't at the time. And my wife, Tracy, came into my life, and she led me back to the Lord, and I've never looked back. It's been a journey. It's been a process, but it's been the best journey I've ever been on. It's been the greatest gift I've ever received, the gift of knowing the Lord instead of playing baseball.
So I did find out there, so I wonder about this. You are the only person to win a world championship with both the Mets and the Yankees. Two iconic teams, too, 86 Mets, 98 Yankees. What was it? Can you compare the experience depending upon the franchise? Because the city of New York loves baseball. These two teams battle it out for that back page in the paper. What's it like winning a title with both those teams?
Well, it's pretty different, two different times. Playing in the 80s, the Mets, we were the team of the city, so the Yankees didn't have the recognition that we had, and we had the recognition as being the best in the time of the 80s. And in the time of the 90s, the Yankees had the recognition of being the best. The fan base is different, of course, Met fans are over on the other side of Queens and Long Island, and Yankee fans are from New Jersey, Bronx, and all over other places, but so are the Mets fans, but at the same time, the organizations are too different. The Yankee organization is a top organization as far as a championship machine, and the Mets, who have struggled since '86. That was the last time they were in the winning circle, and they struggled to win another title. So those are the two different things. The fan base is. They're going to battle who's better or not, but at the same time, the Yankee has the history, and that's what you look at. The history of the New York Yankees is rich. The history of the Mets is not so rich. So, hopefully one day they can get to a place of winning a little bit more.
When you do watch baseball, it's a little bit of a different game than I think than when you played. How do you see that it's different? And if you were playing in today's game, do you think that coaches, managers would have tried to change some of the things about you at all? Your swing, anything, how you worked it?
No, baseball's a game of being natural, and so many people want to change, and they want to change to the upper swing and whatever they call it, and all these other different things. You can't break up a double play. You can't run a catcher over. That's not baseball. That's part of the game. When we played, if that shortstop, second baseman got in the bag area, you run him over. You slide in hard enough to break that play up. Catcher, block that plate, you run him over. I don't care if I break his leg, break his neck. That's part of the game, so that they've changed, and I think they get to the place of changing guys' swings because, a lot of scouts said I would never be able to hit like I was hitting growing up and getting to the big leagues. So they were wrong. I still hit the same way. So you don't really change players. You let players be players. I think so much is built on home runs. There's more home runs hit, but look how many guys strike out so much. Mm-hmm. So many guys don't even put the ball in play. They can't move the runners over. They can't get the advance to run, and that's what caused a team a game, because you can't advance the runner, and that's all part of what baseball fundamentally is all about. And I think they've gotten away from that, and I think the shift is everybody shifting into the outfield, and guys are pulling right, don't even hit the ball the other way because they don't even have a clue that it's RBIs. You could drive a run in by hitting the ball the other way.
Mm-hmm. So I want to make a statement. We'll close with a thought here. One of the things about baseball, and I'm sure that you experienced this as a player, is that there's mentors that pass the game along from one to another. But what you're doing now in your life, as you said, for these last 17 years, and you've been able to get back to travel and do it, that's what you're doing here in Fort Smith, is mentorship of a completely different kind, geared towards younger people that might not be athletes at all. This is a different sort of mentorship than I think a lot of people expect from ex-athletes.
Well, yeah, this is everlasting. Baseball is only going to last for so long. Sports is only going to last for so long, and you only have a career for so long. But, to be able to give faith to young people, it's everlasting. It lasts for eternal, and it leads them into their destiny. And I think we've gotten away from leading young people into the real destiny. We're more consumed with earthly things and tell them you can achieve this, but half of the time kids don't even know who they are, and they get lost in the shuffle once they get to a place of achieving all these things. And then life, then where do you go from there? Because where do you go from after you accomplish every earthly thing? Mm-hmm. There's nowhere else to go. So you can continue to be popular and famous. I don't want to be popular and famous. I want to be holy, righteous, and I want to be able to help young people understand that having a relationship with Jesus Christ is going to be eternal for your life, and it's going to change the course of your life, and it's going to teach you who you are.
Darryl, I really appreciate your time. Thanks for coming and speaking to Fort Smith, and thanks for coming on the radio show briefly here. And as a kid that grew up watching you in Three River Stadium, coming in to beat the Pirates all the time, I have to say, it's still great to meet you.
Well, great to meet you, too, and thanks for coming out.
All right, enjoyed sitting there talking with him, and obviously he's got a very interesting message to deliver to, I think, just about anybody. Doesn't sound like, I think, what a lot of us remember from Darryl Strawberry from 25, 30 years ago at all.
No, and the foundation that he was speaking with, FCA's Fellowship of Christian Athletes, I was heavily involved in that when I was in high school, and even participated in some different different events when I was in college, giving back and doing that. So it's a great program for high school kids to be a part of. It was one of the biggest, if not the biggest program at my school when I was still teaching. So it was a really cool deal for him yesterday. And you had a couple people in here where it was, so mention again for those that just tuned in during halfway through the interview, Darryl Strawberry was at an FCA event here in Fort Smith yesterday evening.
Correct. Yes, that was yesterday, Hardscrabble Country Club. Was I right about it? Did it sound a little like he is uncomfortable talking about baseball now?
It really does. And I think it is interesting to kind of hear that point of view. It's like baseball's only going to last a guy for 10, 15, 20 years. I mean, you got your whole life. And I think once you quit that, I think a lot of guys want to box that portion out of their life and not necessarily that be the only thing that they're known for. So I gave him kudos for that. And he did sound a little bit uncomfortable at some points, wanted to talk about like today's baseball and everything that's about it. So it was still a really good interview. And I'm sure I could tell just kind of how you sounded during the interview and the stuff that you shared on Twitter yesterday evening, and even talk about it prior to the show. That was a moment you'll probably never forget for a while, getting to meet one of your baseball idols.
Yeah.